Hello, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today. It's Monday morning. It is February 20th, 2023. The man they call Meathead, the lovely Linda Kay, and well, there's Matthew Thomas,
Yes,
who's got a very stark look to him today.
I do. Rather be stark than startled.
Well, I almost startled you with that stark reference, but what I don't find is, how Matthew, Linda, is sitting perfectly like in a triangle shape going up to the top.
Yes.
Wait, I think it's different in everyone's view because I see you, Meathead, more on a horizontal visual. I see Matthew more on a long vertical visual, and I am a perfect square.
Well, you have been a bit of a square. That's why we keep you around.
Good to be square.
That's right. Thanks, Huey. So welcome to the program, Linda Kay, Matthew Thomas. It is post Elimination Chamber. We're going to talk a little bit about the Elimination Chamber. Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about our road to WrestleMania and a little bit of news on WWE. And if we have enough money to scoop up together, maybe we could split it three ways and we could buy the WWE. But first, Matthew's going to tell us about our sponsor that we're wearing, except for Matthew. I know Linda's going to put it up on the glass for us, but Matthew, what are we wearing?
Well, you're talking about Collar and Elbow brand apparel, which I need to cruise my web browser over to collarandelbowbrand.com and load up on some new Collar and Elbow brand apparel. I don't have anything of the new, what is this, winter 2023 going into spring 2023 Collar and Elbow lineup. So I need to go over there and grab some of that at collarandelbowbrand.com. And I'm going to enter promo code LindaK, LINDAKAY, save 10%. And while I've got my old internet computer fired up, or the web TV or whatever I decide to use, I might get over to prowrestlinginsurance.com and get some supplemental insurance in case I get hurt doing whatever I might decide to do here in the next couple of days or couple of weeks, because you never know when you're going to run across the balloon people or you're going to,
That's true. That is true.
Insurance is not going to take care of. So I've got that on my list of things to do, to head over to prowrestlinginsurance.com. And I'm going to specifically request that I speak to Chris and all the details on that supplemental insurance. How did I do, Linda?
That was tremendous. I couldn't have said it any
better.
Linda,
push it away, though. What was the name of that shirt that you were again? Push it away.
First of all, I'm sporting, this is the very first collar and elbow shirt I received.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It's the gray mirror collar and elbow t-shirt. I did receive this from Uncle Al many years ago. Too. So, yes, so whether you like some of the vintage shirts or some of the new line, as Matthew said, collarandelbowbrand.com. And one thing I'll add about prowrestlinginsurance.com is that, you mentioned that affordable supplemental coverage, that's individual coverage, but there's also event coverage for those wrestling promoters looking to plan events, and as well as, life insurance plans. And again, it's called prowrestlinginsurance.com, but it does support anybody. You don't have to be a pro wrestler. You don't have to be pro wrestling. We just have that because obviously we cater to that specific audience.
They cater to meatheads
today.
If they had. Yeah.
But yes, prowrestlinginsurance.com. Speak to Chris.
Meathead, you could get that insurance for that roller rink party you had a while back when you hurt yourself.
Yeah, I did, and I was covered. Unfortunately, I had to keep working as well, but they at least covered me at work. So, yeah. I was covered on that. Hey, let's talk about, do you guys have a couple bucks I could borrow? Maybe Linda, maybe we could talk to Chris as well as the business is doing. Can we all pool together our money? Do we have $9 billion?
My sister might have some after the Royal Rumble.
Yes, she does. And, she got a video, too, that says, well, good luck. I hope, I hope you don't win. I hope I win. But I said, I hope you win. And that woman won anyway. So congratulations again going out to Presley Ann. But the WWE apparently is going for about $9 billion. So if we could scratch together a couple dollars, we might own World Wrestling Entertainment. Linda Kay, let me fantasy book this for you. Let me ask you to fantasy book it. If you own WWE, what are you doing with it? What's the first thing you do? What's day one?
Ish. If I had $9 billion, I would make more Royal Rumbles out of the year because that's my favorite pay-per-view.
So you'd have a quarterly Royal Rumble.
Yes. That will not, obviously the one at the beginning of the year, you headline WrestleMania.
Okay.
But the other ones, you get that guaranteed title shot at the next pay-per-view. I don't know. No. I think that's wow. Okay, I didn't realize the talk of the selling was still you know, a hot topic right now. But I guess it
Yeah.
never really ended that we know of. So interesting. I mean, that's see where things take us, I guess. I love WWE right now, though. There's so much momentum behind it. I think the fans are very happy in the direction WWE is currently going right now creatively. So, so keep the fans happy.
Matthew Thomas, same question.
So I would get my team of developers and my entire IT department to figure out a way that we can uncover that lost technology that we had from 2014 onto about 2020 or whatever, and start a pay-per-view from the beginning when it's in progress and not have to wait after the press conference and make that. So I don't know if it's the case for you or what your app is on, but
it's happening.
Basically, my Peacock has 2 hours of rewind time. So if I start something in the midst, I can basically hit play, cover my eyes, which I did not do a good job of because I started live during the Elimination Chamber, and not to go too far ahead, but I'm like, wait a minute, that little pause screen that it's on, that guy looks a lot like Logan Paul. That doesn't make any sense. Rewind 2 hours to about 15 minutes into the women's chamber match. So it was better this time, but my goodness. And I mean, we see the same thing with Bleacher Report, you know, like they have the same difficulties. WWE Network, it was so pristine to start with. You could say, hey, restart the pay-per-view, replay seemed to be automatically available. I would immediately go back to that. And while we're talking about the WWE pay-per-view calendar, I would go ahead, I would scrap all the gimmick pay-per-views, the Hell in a Cell, TLC, and let's bring back some WCW lineage of those pay-per-views. We'll have a soft spot. Give me Bash at the Beach. Give me War Games. In WWE right now, they're leaning a lot more into the history, what they've got in the catalog. I think this would be a very Triple H move he would be in agreement with. So let's make everything feel important and not have these. Keep your big four and then let the rest consist of, you know, maybe give me a King of the Ring, but let the rest consist of these WCW pay-per-views that have that lineage.
Can I interject real quick? I would love to go back to Panama City Beach several years later to experience, even if it's just a Monday night at PCB. If Pueblo Vila still exists, I'm not sure. But also,
it could have been washed away, Linda. Last time I was there, I mean, there was some serious hurricane damage.
Yeah, that's true.
And all we want to know, what kind of reception would Sami get in Sturgis?
I was just about to say, I want Hog Wild. Dang it, Matthew. I was just tip of my tongue. No, great minds think alike. I was literally going to say this would make me then now get to Sturgis. Get that off my bucket list item. Many, many years ago, y'all, when I did some bartending and some fun motorcycle photography, it was always on my list to make it to Sturgis, to make some money bartending and all that stuff. That never happened. So if we were to get another Hog Wild,
I'd love to go to Road Wild. I'd love to go to Road Wild and get Hog Wild while I'm talking about bashing at the beach, and maybe we could have a little battle bowl as well. I mean, if you know, WCW Meathead available on Twitter, Instagram, and all your other socials. If the old Meathead gets all his WCW pay-per-views back, we got to go back and find the RoboCop one. I mean, let's bring back RoboCop as well.
Yes.
This is where you laugh. Sorry, it went dead silent. Like, oh, we didn't say something that wasn't funny.
I had to think about that.
I had to process what I was going to say, but I decided I'm going to say I'll buy that for $1.
There you go. Thank you. I'd buy that for $1. All right. So WWE, $9 billion. They could have new owners by the end of the year, to be completely honest. Let's talk about WWE in one fell swoop. Okay. First off, Raw was the go-home show for the Raw brand, and we really just had business as usual on Raw. There wasn't a ton of stuff. I mean, we did get, you know, some continuation of a story, Linda and Matthew, that JBL wants nothing to do with Baron Corbin anymore. He is not the wrestling god, the new generation wrestling god. And to be honest, I wondered how long this was going to take for it to go this way, because it is not working for JBL and Baron Corbin. Matthew Thomas, were they killing JBL's name by having him with Baron Corbin? Was he like a charisma vacuum at that point?
No. but you also gotta like look at what a JBL partnership is going to do for anybody in 2023. You know, as much as I enjoy JBL and commentary and SmackDown and a lot of JBL's run, man, a lot of stuff has come to light in the last few years, you know, regarding JBL in the backstage. And I mean, this is not, you know, that stuff doesn't sit as well. I think there's a lot of people that kind of have a lot of a different opinion with JBL now in regards to everything that happened with Morrow and all of that stuff. So I don't think that JBL rub in 2023 is what it used to be. So I think potentially breaking these two up might actually play better for Corbin in the long run.
Linda K, thoughts?
Is JBL still able to wrestle? I don't know if he has any type of injury. Could this just been a slow burn storyline to get a match between the two of them at Mania? Turn Corbin face because the heel stuff. While he's a great heel, don't get me wrong. I love the whole money thing. I want that Corbin that was down in the dumps and found his way in after winning that jackpot in Vegas.
The one that had the tomato soup all over his shirt every week.
Yes.
Maybe get that back. Like I really think there was the potential for the fans to get behind that.
Happy Corbin.
Yeah. And maybe you get that back and like I think you could go there now that he's kind of split up with JBL. And you could bring that back and actually get, you know, basically a baby face Corbin.
And get that match at Mania.
But let me ask you this, though. With Happy Corbin and that whole tomato soup on the shirt thing, didn't that seem like a Vince McMahon thing? Now that we have Triple H kind of controlling creative, do we think we're even going to go back to something like that?
I think it'd be fine, too. I mean, we have some funny ha-ha things that we can still keep it wrestling. Like a lot of us grew up in that era where there's that funny, the funny shenanigans like this. But also, I mean, Corbin still having that I have money or I love money or I seek money, mentality. So I think he could easily bring it back and bring it to somewhere where
he had
was behind him.
He had a great point in his promo, and we'll move on from this once we get down to the chamber. He goes, you know who the last person to pin Roman Reigns was? Me.
Yeah. I want to add this one thing, though, talking about that being a Vince idea. I think a lot of problems with the Vince ideas was they never saw completion. Now, you go back to the whole Sami bloodline thing, like you're going, April, May last year. That's technically still during Vince's reign. And I think in a typical Vince era, that may have just been tossed aside.
It would probably petered out.
Yeah. And so I think, Vince, there's some gold there, but the tendency was just to scrap things immediately. So I think that, you could kind of go back to some of these seeds that Vince planted.
Okay. Well, Vince is a farmer. So let's move on and let's talk about Friday Night SmackDown. Two things really big that happened to me. Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt coming out after Hit Row and saying, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, whenever you two boys are done, run. All right, cool. So that means that we don't know what's going to happen there because we'll get to what happened in the Lashley-Lesnar match. But Bray Wyatt calling a shot, and then finally, about 5 to 7 minutes of Sami Zayn in the ring. I thought I had audio difficulties on my DVR. I didn't. Montreal so very vocally yelled, blank you Roman on TV. They had to censor him. Like, what happened? Wow. Montreal took over my television. Matthew Thomas, first off, Sami Zayn. Boy, the love was there. There was tears coming out of Sami's eye. That wasn't sweat, friends.
Not only that, did you catch the loss of the feed for about a second or two prior to him coming out? That pop might have been so significant that feed actually cut because it's an audience shot. My screen goes blank, no sound, no visual.
And it happened multiple times in SmackDown. Actually, there was some.
But whether it just be a technical snafu or whatever, like that was so cool to me because it insinuates, oh my goodness, these people were so loud. They cut the audio and the visual. And then of course you had the profanity later. But I mean, that was almost a straight minute of no audio on Fox. Like that was absolutely insane. It's been a long time since I have seen any crowd respond like that. And just
I mean,
yeah,
chef's
yeah,
kiss.
just what a great moment, and a great, like we've talked about on this show before too. What's so great about this? This is not the audience just hijacking something.
Mhm.
This is the audience basically going along, being invested in the storyline, and getting that
Oh,
culmination.
they were screaming although their heart was yelling out
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah.
Linda K. So Montreal, Quebec. Boy, oh boy, did they just get into the world of Chicago, New York, post WrestleMania?
I mean, we heard just the crowd chanting. I mean, obviously that was a huge welcome home for their hometown boy, hometown hero, Sami Zayn. But I think also getting to hear Sammy's old music back too.
Oh,
I mean, we still had that, but then it was that newer music when we got back, that full-on ska song. And granted, we didn't see Sami come out and do the ska dancing like he had in the past, but obviously he's in serious mode, getting
Yeah.
ready for the biggest match of his life potentially. So yeah, that was such a huge moment. I just, working live TV with wrestling, it was crazy watching it. In my mind, I'm like, are they going to finish this segment before they go off the air?
No, they had to actually have that going, right?
I'm sure,
They booked that.
Sami didn't say much. I mean, he said enough that, if you spoke French, you knew what it meant. But if you didn't, you knew that it was something.
He ordered a
magical.
panini, I think is what I understood, if I translated correctly, because I had my Google translator up and he said, I'd like a panini with ham and salami or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, that must be a popular delicacy there in Montreal. But no, I mean, just magic there. And yeah, well deserved for Sami. I mean, that was the moment you were waiting for all night.
Yeah, and to be honest, we all finished at the same time, which is really the goal of any kind of relationship between fans, between wrestlings, between whatever. You want to finish at the same time. Wow, did I make that weird? Let's move on to AEW and then we'll finish.
Next to you at the next live event we go to.
I'll hold your hand while it happens. Let's go into AEW and then we'll finish and we'll culminate with the Elimination Chamber. AEW Dynamite, we had a big show again, and it was broadcast live. It was Championship Fight Night. There was, excuse me, they were trying to take some of the thunder away from this big week building up to Elimination Chamber. Because to be honest, Elimination Chamber or Fastlane, they always were called Damian Nelson specials, the road bump to WrestleMania. Well, Mr. Jerry Jarrett having passed away during the week, Jeff Jarrett opens up the show wrestling. And to be completely blunt and clear, I thought he would be there because, the word came up that his dad's wife, his mom, had said that, no, your dad wants you to wrestle. You go on and wrestle tonight. And that's a wrestling mentality. Matthew Thomas, Jeff Jarrett wrestling on the day that his dad had passed.
Yeah, and I think that it's not a surprise to anybody. And I just got to add, I'm really enjoying the way Jarrett is being used here. It feels right. Jarrett, hey, you can say what you want to about AEW. Jarrett brings star power to AEW, and I think it'd be a different reception if he was in the main event picture. He's not, but Jarrett's stable. This is one of the most eclectic groupings of wrestlers that I've ever seen. When you it's like you drew names out of a hat. You have a hard time imagining this group of people working together, but somehow it works. And I mean, Jarrett.
Well, we know Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal are going to work together because they were X Division for a long time, and then Jeff was in charge of that.
And Jarrett just does a great job of being a kayfabe heat magnet. Like the heat that he brings to AEW, it's not the go away heat. It's not the we don't respect you heat. It's like, all right, I think Jarrett in a lot of ways, it kind of lets that AEW crowd get back into. I'm not comparing it to the Sami storyline because it's not, but that same suspension of disbelief, we are going to radically boo the heel like we boo Roman, so it gives people that, basically escape back to kayfabe wrestling.
Linda, so who is Jeff Jarrett's heat supposed to lift up? Are they, because currently they're working with the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy and these guys here. Who is Jeff Jarrett's heat supposed to lift up?
Man, I'm not sure. I think having him there is just really helping elevate a lot of the guys there at AEW.
Yeah.
Having him together with Jay Lethal, I mean, we saw that magic at Ric Flair's last match this year as well. And of course, just everything else, the history, like you mentioned just now too, Matthew. But I truly enjoy seeing Jeff Jarrett on there. He was always one of my favorites. And all these decades later, still seeing him, smashing the head or with someone with a guitar just will never get old in pro wrestling.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, we have a new member to the AEW roster. He's all elite, and he's one of them boys. Reach for the sky. Mark Briscoe, officially now in AEW. And Linda, is this a make good? Is this a, you know what, he's a talent? Or is this a, you know what, fine, he can be all elite. His brother's gone, so we don't have to deal with his brother's comments. Where do you think they stand on this?
When I saw that announcement, I was taking a peek at social media as well, just reading people's comments. A lot of it was, praising that. Finally, that's great to hear that, that the past be the past, that kind of stuff. But there are also comments like, oh, all it took was,
Oh, it took, right. So that's what I'm asking. Is it Jay passing? Is it a make good, as in, you know what, we made a mistake? And it's not AEW that made a mistake. Let's make this part absolutely clear. The reason that the Briscoes were working with AEW talents, but not on AEW television, was due to Turner Broadcasting and due to Discovery not wanting Jay Briscoe on TV. So is this a make good, or is it, you know what, he's gone now, I guess we don't have to deal with it anymore?
I don't like to look at it in that regard, but I feel that.
Let's say it's because he's an awesome talent and that he actually could have a great singles run.
Yes, I hope that, we'll go with that. But no, I mean, all in all, though, it is great to see him featured officially, all elite. But it is interesting. I mean, while we're on that topic as well, I mean, he is still obviously one half of the ROH Tag Team Champions, and it's, just, I don't know how they're gonna really move forward with that either. Like, how do they? At least not anytime soon. But all in all, good to see. The Briscoes getting that time and that shine, if you will, on AEW TV. Yeah.
Matthew Thomas, MJF coming out to the ring. MJF throwing around a lot of money lately, and this time his money did not pay off because he paid off Christopher Daniels, who apparently is not retired.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good to see him out there. But I'll tell you, once we get through this Danielson storyline, I think you got to go back to the drawing board with booking MJF. Man, this has been all of his feuds. You go back to Punk. You go back to Jericho. I'm going to give you a lot of obstacles. Like, I get it. He's a heel.
He even says it in his promos that's what I'm known for, is giving people obstacles.
Yeah, but you can't. At the end of the day, this comes back to booking. And this is how the guy is being booked. And, 3 months of watching everybody likes to see Danielson wrestle. I get it. But 3 months of, Danielson's going to wrestle this guy and find a way to win. And this is going to be our storyline here for 3 months. I think AEW, especially in the face of what WWE has done with Roman and Sami, this captivating storyline, I feel like in a lot of ways, AEW's kind of mailed this thing in for 3 months. Like, you knew where it's going. And AEW, I think we are almost at a point where your 4 pay-per-views a year, 5 pay-per-views a year, I don't know that they've got the formula to book those shows. Everything seems to either be super thrown together. You don't know what card you're getting until 2 weeks ahead of time, or when they try to do long-term booking, overly predictable. 3 years in, I don't think that sweet spot or that formula has been found for the big shows. I mean, I think they've got a great product they put out week to week, but I think this build-up in this pay-per-view presentation needs some work.
The main event was Britt Baker and are taking on Ruby Soho versus Toni Storm. It was a 3-way. There is talk that Thunder Rosa is just about ready to come back. Now, there's also talk that there was some riff in the women's locker room in AEW. They had a backstage meeting before the show. Is everything going to be good? And can we finally get a proper women's division where women are fighting and clawing to get to the top, Matthew?
That's going to take more than one women's match a show. I mean, and that's the form, whether it be Dynamite, whether it be Rampage, you're getting one women's match and maybe some backstage segments. So in order for that, you've really got to look at the presentation. You've got to present them on a level like WWE is presenting the women's division. And maybe it's not quite a 50-50 split in WWE, but it's a lot closer than what AEW is presenting there. AEW's presentation of the women it's honestly, it still feels a little special attraction to me. It's not that consistency that you have on the Raw or SmackDown. So in order for that division to get there, you have got to get more. You've got to have the women taking up more of a substantial portion of the show. And I mean, I think one thing now, we're at a point now with Jade's run where, I mean,
Who?
yeah, Jade practically, it's almost similar to some of the critique that Cody got when he was there. It's like Jade is in a universe of her own. Like, yeah, she's only interacting with whoever she's wrestling that given day. And so I think you've got to really revamp that title, whether it's
Yeah.
figure who you want to take it off
The
of.
title means nothing right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I mean,
And she's not elevating the title, and the title's not elevated until that day when Jade Cargill drops that belt to someone. It has to be a big build. If they drop it just out of a whoop, look at that, I dropped it.
well, Jade.
Done.
I mean, I think Jade having a working her way back to the top storyline can be there. But Jade, I mean, the way that she's been introduced on the roster, she was initially running over people. She got the title, and she's been running over people. So there's just a disconnect and lack of investment there at this point, I think.
Linda Kay, let's talk about Rampage, and they'd open up with a trios championship. It was the Elite, Omega and the Young Bucks taking on AR Fox and Top Flight. Big time matches. Let me ask you this to kind of piggy off of what Matthew and I just spoke about and take it to you as well. Linda, do they need to shorten these matches? Because these matches are usually 2 to 3 segments long. Do they need to shorten these matches to A, get more women's matches in, and B, make the matches mean more?
I think just based off that best of 7, we're tuned in to expect a longer multi-segment match. I mean, you've got 6 guys in there too. Just, I mean, how many more new things can you think of? I mean, this time we got a basketball involved, so kudos in a way to.
Yay! I mean, because it was basketball weekend, so you had to have a basketball involved.
Well, you know, it's TNT, TBS, they got that sponsorship plug in there, but or channel plug.
It was NBA, yeah, it was NBA weekend, so.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say I was entertained by that. I love the different utilizations of the basketball. I mean, again, this was something where you've got the Elite. We know them to do very innovative moves, tricks, and them knowing they've had basketball vignettes. Like, this was entertaining to me, and I did enjoy seeing Top Flight and AR Fox because I mean, they
are a basketball term, you know. So Top Flight, you know, Air Jordan. So
yeah. But to answer your question, you know, I maybe we move the 6-man tag matches to Dynamite where you get 2 full hours versus 1 hour of Rampage, maybe. Or, you know, you can
that was
get
the third of the show.
In.
It was the third of the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are a lot of backstage segments or interview segments. I mean, that's a huge part of pro wrestling as well. But if we're trying to get more women's matches featured, I mean, unless you're going to eliminate some of the men's matches, there could be maybe some room there to get some other matches to focus on the women's division. Yeah. I'm not sure, but you mentioning Thunder Rosa, that made me happy to hear. I mean, it's been a while, and that would be a good time.
Rosa.
Yeah. Can you imagine that pop when she comes through? Because then you you still got to have her and Jamie Hayter face off, but also just the whole thing with Paige and Toni Storm right now. Like, this would be a great time for Thunder Rosa to.
Well, she should also face off against Toni Storm, because Toni Storm flipped while they were gone. They were Thunderstorm.
Yeah.
You know, because they were thunderstruck. But let's make our way over to Elimination now, an Elimination Chamber. We'll get to the main event in a bit here, but I want to talk about the first Elimination Chamber match. And I think it was predictable, but it didn't mean it wasn't entertaining. Asuka winning the women's elimination match, Elimination Chamber match, and she will take on Bianca Belair. This is all built for Asuka. Asuka's going to WrestleMania, and I think she takes it off of Bianca. Linda?
I definitely see that as well. She had her huge return, and with I don't want to say new because she's had it, you know, face paint.
I think it's Kana-esque is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is meant to be. I think this is going to be her moment at WrestleMania as well.
Matthew, your thoughts on the women's elimination chamber?
Yeah, I think Asuka was the right move here, and I think you're right. I think she takes it off of her at WrestleMania, and I hope this gives us a springboard to get a little bit of a different character-driven storyline out of Bianca, because, I mean, we've had almost a year title reign. Yeah. I feel like I still don't quite get Bianca. I still don't get
You don't want to ask me because I've been asking for 4 years. Yeah, EST. What does that mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's still a lot of shtick to me, to be honest with you. And I want to see her. I go back to there's money in cutting the braid. My goodness, a heel cuts that braid. You've got.
Well, then you might have a promo talking about how, like that. It was your connection to her dad, maybe.
Yeah.
We got that from Wardlow.
No. Absolutely. So I want a better story from Bianca. Yeah. Maybe we get it, with the Asuka thing.
Yeah, I mean, I do love Bianca, and I get, the EST. I get that, but if she does indeed drop the title to Asuka at Mania, it should be interesting the direction moving forward. Are we changing things up? Not just the hair, but just Bianca Belair.
I love Bianca as a performer. Let's get that part absolutely clear. But I've been saying this for years. What is EST? What is that?
Does Samoa Joe cross companies and cut the hair?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm wondering. Samoa Joe managed by Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of superstar returns here in this Triple H regime, so maybe we don't rule that completely out.
Maybe comes back as the Ring of Honor TV champion in WWE. That's never going to happen. But let's talk about Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar gets Bobby right in the nuggets, gets a DQ, and goes berserk after the match. He F5s the referee through the table. Is he going to be suspended until WrestleMania when he has his match with Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt? Linda?
Did you say the Berserker was there?
Yeah, he went berserk, not the Berserker.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I was hoping for something more with Bobby and with Brock, but
it was a weird ending. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this makes sense now that you just put it together. You reminded me that Bray Wyatt did call them out on SmackDown as he did, earlier during this. Triple threat would be indeed something there, but I still want that Bobby Brock match we always wanted. I know we were reminded of their previous matches and
right, and they were wrestling for condoms or rubbers or rubber match or whatever it was. Right.
So I would say we could still get this at Mania, but now with Bray throwing, that call out there, that does seem like a triple threat to me.
Excuse me. Matthew, is Brock Lesnar the angry Teletubby? Because every time I kept seeing his braids sticking up in the air, he looked like a Teletubby to me.
So I get it. You don't want DQs on pay-per-views or special events.
Where's Frank Cosentino to talk about no DQs on a pay-per-view?
But I think this might have been the best way to do this. My goodness, it makes Bobby look really, really strong. This is basically Lesnar saying, hey, I can't escape this thing. I've got some pride to go down. And I'm okay with that. Let me throw something else out there that actually intrigues me more than a triple threat. I know we get tired of the can they coexist storyline.
Oh, God.
But give me Brock and Bobby as a tag team against Bray and Uncle Howdy. How great would it be? How great would it be seeing Brock and Bobby just trying to figure out all of this supernatural stuff that's just swimming around them? Give me that.
Let's get them out on the Hollywood Strip as well. Let's utilize the surroundings.
Well, let's talk about that. We got our first video going Hollywood. We've been wondering. We keep seeing all these replays from the WrestleMania 21 where WrestleMania went Hollywood. We got our first one. It was Seth frickin' Rollins as the Joker. Absolutely tremendous. Linda Kay, who's next? No pun intended.
Didn't we get a preview of another one? Wasn't it?
I might have missed it then.
Was it Bianca? Or, I'm not sure, but
Liz and Marie's Top Gun. I saw.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was a montage of other ones. They have more coming out. Yeah, so I think that we have more debuting as we get closer to Mania. But no, that one tremendous. I mean, so fitting. Just
so fitting because if you think about it, maybe that's where Seth Rollins got his stick from. I mean, look at it all come together. Remember how we've always said, I'm going to give credit to Big D from Big D. It's always right in front of us the whole time.
Yeah.
Two words as far as the next one goes. Otis Flashdance.
No, Otis actually Chippendales. Playing the Chris Farley role.
Yeah. We can see that.
There's no Patrick Swayze, obviously, so we'd have to get somebody. Maybe Boogs can be Patrick Swayze.
No, you just got to use Chad Gable.
Dude, they did that about a year ago though. Like that actually.
Oh, they did. That's
No
right.
wonder it's an idea that was in my head.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
bring that
all right.
back. But
Well,
yeah, no. I kind of just
go
one
ahead,
more thing
Linda.
I forgot about when you were talking about Bobby, Brock, Bray as a triple
Yeah.
threat. When you mentioned Uncle Howdy, Matthew, I was like, oh my God, forgot we have Uncle Howdy in the mix, so that it could be a fatal four-way.
And Uncle Howdy was standing there ready to work too, but it's
me
going to be
throw-
hard. Go ahead, Matthew.
Put this out there. This is not an original idea. This is a speculation that I read on DirtySheets.com. How about
From
this?
the website, so
Everybody thinks that we know who Uncle Howdy is. How about if Uncle Howdy is actually somebody that they have not been able to put on TV due to contract issues, i.e., one Jay White, White Rabbit,
Oh, there you go.
White Rabbit,
Okay. Jay White from the Bullet Club. Yeah, it's
Look
quite
at that,
possible.
Look at a comparison of the beard.
Get out of here with that. It's believable that it's Bo Dallas. So
Maybe it's The Rock that I
it's
have.
not. All right, we're done with that nonsense.
It's John Cena.
Oh, God.
It's not going to be that Cena theory match we speculate.
No. But I will say, though, saying Bobby, Brock, Bray is getting a little difficult for me. The Triple B match at WrestleMania.
And Bo.
And Bo. Believe that we're going to be confused. Let's continue on with the Grid couple. Excuse me. Edge and Beth Phoenix taking on Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Mommy and Finn losing to Edge and Beth. Linda?
Yeah. Great match here. I loved just getting more of that interaction with Beth and with Rhea. We've been wanting to see that more. We got a taste of it when we got the concerto, and then of course the attack at the Rumble. But now we get it full on, and man, it's just so great seeing Edge and Beth, just their energy, and yeah, just so great to see them doing that. And then I figured, they would come off with the win there, but still great to see that match and see the utilization. Even just having Dominic at ringside, seeing, he just adds that added layer, that
added appearance points is what you're saying. And we will get to, by the way, we've got word from the accounting firm at Dewey, Cheatham and Howe. There was some technical difficulties, some glitches in the accounting software. We will have those totals for you after Elimination Chamber next week here on PWR Today. But Matthew Thomas, the great couple winning over Balor and Ripley.
Yeah, I think it was fun to have Edge and Beth have their moment. And I think that's what this was, to see them get that win, as a couple. And nobody's negatively hurt in the booking. I mean, Rhea's going on to WrestleMania as strong as ever. So this was a feel-good moment.
Beth tweeted after. She was like, Rhea Ripley's forgot verbatim, but like, is the real deal. They'll get the gold at Mania. That's what Beth tweeted about Rhea post-match.
Theory retains his U.S. championship. I thought that this was kind of a no-brainer either. I thought that Theory would get through this chamber as the United States champion, and I think he's going to go on, as Linda mentioned, taking on John Cena. But Logan Paul helping Austin Theory in the chamber. Matthew Thomas, Logan Paul, where your pause screen started. Tell us about your thoughts on the chamber.
Yeah, I thought it was a great match. I mean, you had a chamber full of a lot of
stars.
People. Yeah, of stars and a lot of people that can do some crazy, crazy spots in there. It's a very entertaining match. And you're right. I think that, they booked Theory really, really strong since he lost the title. And this was absolutely no exception. This is how he needed to win as a heel. And I look forward to seeing what they do, what direction they go into at Mania.
Linda Kay, Austin Theory retaining, and tell us about your dream match. Apparently, it's John Cena and Austin Theory.
Well, huge
John your dream Cena, becoming
John
a reality.
John Cena fans, I hope that does go that way, not just because I have John Cena on team a long time, but I think that's just going to be a match that the crowd will want to see. We're already speculating it, and you got to have Cena in that huge pop at Mania. I would hope it would be a win, though, because we've seen his recent returns. Like last time, for example, I picked up Cena and he still lost to Roman. This was, a while back there, but whether he wins or not, I think we need that feel-good moment at Mania. We saw Cena recently at the end of the year-end show on SmackDown.
Yep, on December 31st, on New Year's Eve.
And then we get him at Mania. I sure hope so. But all in all, that men's match, of course, Montez Ford with the moments of the night, I feel, and being innovative, something new, and seeing that injury happen, I figured something was going to happen because the door was left open a little longer than than we were anticipating. And I didn't put two and two together about Logan Paul possibly running in, but it made sense. And here we are now. We're going to get that match of Seth Rollins and Logan Paul at Mania.
Yeah. And then finally, the main event of the main events. Excuse my cough here, folks. The main event of main events, Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn in Montreal, the moment we've all been waiting for. Did we, Linda, lose some of the steam that we were given the night before in Friday of Sami coming out and getting the cheer? Did they keep that separate on purpose so we could focus on the match? Linda Kay, on the ringside, we also saw Sami Zayn's wife, and they used her up for emotional. I know WWE was doing this. I think they kept the happy stuff on Friday because on Saturday they were going to pull the rug out from underneath her feet.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, if you watched the press conference as well, that was a question that kind of came up for Triple H, was the first night being a little, more of that huge pop for Sami. Of course, he got it Saturday, but that was the moment. And you brought up a good point. That was the feel-good moment for the fans of Montreal, knowing that Saturday night was not going to end the way that they would be hoping. And then having his wife at ringside as well brought that additional emotional element. But it was nice to see, because you got Roman just being cocky as ever, even blowing that kiss to Sami during the
yeah.
And
he's sorry if he's in God mode. He is on greatness on a different level.
Yeah. But also him just speaking to his wife at ringside. That's classic WWE there, when you do bring spouses and kids and family and mothers, fathers at ringside. Really gets you.
And his barber once in a while too. And you could also bring in the guy that made his Big Mac 3 weeks ago. Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Matthew Thomas, Roman Reigns defeating Sami Zayn to retain the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship.
In the week going into this, I got swept up in this like everybody else did, and I went into
as you should.
Yeah, I went into Saturday night thinking, I don't know there's any way you can send people home in Canada happy unless Sami wins.
After Friday night, Matthew, did you think the same?
Yeah, I did. But I will tell you, they got there. And I think that basically what we got at the end of this show was the fact that the bloodline storyline is not done. And now I think there's more of a storyline investment, honestly, between Sami and Jay. I think Jay has been a big player in this, but I think as we go into Mania, Sami wins the title. That puts a period on this thing to a certain extent. What we saw the other night with Sami spearing Jay, I think Jay's got a lot to get out of this storyline as well, too. They sent people home happy. That was what needed to be accomplished there. And I will tell you, the concern that I had they gone the Sami route here, WWE's track record of basically kind of going with the crowd and switching the potential plan around WrestleMania time, it's not a great track record. Now, the Daniel Bryan stuff might have been a great move, but he got injured. Nobody will ever know. He had that one pay-per-view with Kane where he drove the forklift, and then he got hurt. Kofi, I mean, that was a great feel-good moment, but I don't know that has had the long-term impacts on Kofi's single career that people were hoping for. And then, that was the other concern with this.
Because Kofi held that belt until Brock Lesnar's debut on Fox and got beaten in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. I feel like Kofi's ever gotten his momentum back from that.
Yeah.
So if you went a Sami move right here, the concern would ultimately be
Sami would have been crushed by Cody.
Yeah, do we get it off of Cody? And then Cody doesn't win. Well, I mean, the Cody story, that would impinge upon the Cody story. So, looking at it, I think Sami is still that superstar with or without the belt. And whatever route they go to WrestleMania now, I think you're going to go a lot longer way towards really giving Jay a lot of that spotlight as well, too. So they made the right move.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here we are. Sami, saved by Kevin Owens at the end of the night. Kevin Owens and Sami, Matthew, should be going for the tag team titles against the Usos at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and it's good to see KO involved now. And I mean, I think the other thing, too, is you're getting KO some of the rub from the storyline. He's kind of been on the outer orbit of it. And as big of a pop as KO gets, as much as he's renowned by the fans, it's been a long time since we've had a very, very significant KO storyline that we can sink our teeth into. So I think by having Sami not win the title, you're actually able to pull in Jay, you're able to pull in KO for something more substantial and give them some of the rub that this Bloodline storyline has given for almost a year now.
Absolutely. Linda Kay, your thoughts on KO and Sami possibly taking the belts off the Usos?
I think that was the direction a lot of this,
Yeah.
a lot of what's been happening would be leading us to. But then you have the open-ended variables. Like you had Jay, who was still on the side of Sami, but now he just got speared.
Right.
That could be that potential twist there where it's going to be, nope, 100% Bloodline, no more, the additional support for the then honorary Uso.
He's an honorary ab now. So what a great shirt. What a great marketing idea to sell in Montreal, Quebec, honorary ab. So, folks, that is the program. We have our road to WrestleMania. We've talked about it. We've talked about who we think might be heading here, who might be heading there. More Hollywood videos for WrestleMania going Hollywood. And for Linda Kay and for Matthew Thomas and the man they call Meathead, we've got go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were signing off. Sorry.
That's okay. Linda, go. Put it on the glass. What do you got?
Those in the greater Milwaukee area this Saturday night, we've got a huge show. It is GLCW's 25th anniversary time frame here. I don't know if anybody here, if you follow GLCW socials or Dave Hero or some of us for just, like sharing and promoting the show and the post itself, but Dave Hero put it out there. We have a show this Saturday night that culminates with the 25th anniversary of Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. And we have on site, we have WWE Hall of Famer Sean Waltman, X-Pac 6, 123 Kid in the house. Been a great friend of Dave's and of GLCW for many, many years. So great to have that show take place this Saturday night at Circle D in Cedarburg, Wisconsin. Yours truly will be the ring announcer, and really, really, really looking forward to that show and just a great celebration for GLCW itself. I believe, I'm not sure if ringside is sold out. I'm not sure, but as always, blizzardbrawl.com for tickets or tickets at the door. Just wanted to make sure we got that and show some love there for our fellow PWR.
I can't believe it's 25 years. I mean, I feel like I just started going to GLCW shows at the Texas Victory Hall in Cudahy. So the shows really got kicked off. Yeah.
If GLCW was an actual person, this is the year they could save money on car insurance. But whether you're an actual person or a company, you can always save money on insurance at ProWrestlingInsurance.com. Head over.
That's absolutely fantastic.
LovelyLindaK.com as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Find a link to our podcast on there too.
That's absolutely tremendous. Linda, if there was 13 months in the year, I'd say maybe Matthew and I could pose for one of those months for you. But luckily, there's only 12 months, and it's all you on that one. So. Well,
mine is a 13-month calendar, but who's to say we can't get y'all up in there for?
You and I could do like a Bert and Ernie thing in the bathtub.
Rabadeki.
Yeah.
All right. For Linda Kay, for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. We've got a lot of big things popping. Don't forget, next week we'll get into the points that have been scored for the championship season of the man they call Meathead and Linda Kay and Matthew Thomas. So long, everyone.